Hello, welcome to another week of Her Story Hour. Sorry, let's just start with the elephant in the room. Sorry if I look silly because I'm wearing this puffer coat, but I was just cold, so I didn't know what to put on. So this is what we've got. Do you know, I want to be feeling my best when I'm sitting here. I don't want to be freezing to death because me and the coldness is not good. But anyway, I hope you've all had a great week. Another great week in the bag. Hopefully we've all got through January because I think by the time I'm posting this it should be beginning of February, if I worked out my dates correctly. So hopefully you've got through January. January is actually the hardest month to get through, isn't it? It's like ages since payday, it's cold, we've just had all the excitement of Christmas, and then it's like you come over that hill and you're like, what do I look forward to now? Like, do you always think that? Like, I always think before Christmas the winter period is not too bad because you've got, it slowly eases off in September's still a bit warm, then you've got October where you can look forward to Halloween, November bonfire night and it's getting a bit cozy and nice, and December is Christmas, and then January's a bit like, what are we really doing here? But then February it starts to perk up a bit because you start to get a bit more excited about summer because days get lighter and stuff like that, and it's Valentine's Day, which is always fun. So then after that it just seems like there's a bit more to look forward to, in my opinion. But we've made it through January, so give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulations. And even if you haven't got through January and it hasn't been good, let's hope that we have the rest of the year being amazing, and I'm sure it will be. It will be, because we're going to have the best year of our lives this year, okay? You need to manifest it and tell yourself that, and it's going to happen. Okay, so today's episode, we're not going to be dilly-dallying. We're going to get into it straight away because I don't want to yabba yabba. And plus, remember last week's episode, I was having trouble with my laptop. It just keeps dying rapidly. Luckily for my laptop and for you guys, I speak fast. So we can get through this episode quickly, hopefully. I'm going to tell you the topic of this and then we're going to see where we can go from there because I don't have an actual structure. It's just what I want to talk about because it's on my mind. Because obviously I've said blah, blah, blah. I keep telling you I've gone through changes, right? You're bored of hearing it by now. But one of the big changes that I had made was making sure that I'm actually living for myself, because I think so many of us are actually not living for ourselves and we're too busy thinking about what other people are thinking. So firstly, let's just think about the more obvious person, which is me. Kind of still me now because I'm still working on it, but me, always, my whole life, I've always worried about what other people think of me and their opinion of me. So just some small examples of that would be, like I've said before with the YouTube channel, when I had my main channel, I could have grown that. My first video posted on there was 2016, and the reason it didn't grow was because I didn't consistently post and I didn't promote it anywhere because I was just basically too busy thinking about what other people thought of me. Whereas if I would have actually posted that on my socials a bit more, or I would have actually kept active with it and kept posting because I wasn't afraid of what other people thought, then who knows where that channel could have been. Like, it could have been way more successful than what it is. It was just myself and my worry about what other people thought that held me back. And also, another example is like at work, not my current job, sorry, I don't know why I'm shouting either, sorry, I think I've just blown your ears off. At my old job, I was offered like certain positions and I didn't take them because I was worried about other people and what they would think if I took the position. Like, yeah, and I've actually also always been too nice sometimes, so like, I don't want to start conflict, but I would never say what I thought about certain things, really. I'd try and, I wasn't lying because I still thought whatever it was I was saying was true, but I didn't necessarily also say the other flip side of it, which was the truth. Whereas now I've just started to slowly be a bit more brave and open up and tell people like what I actually think, because sometimes the situation is just irrelevant. It's not going to affect my life either way, but sometimes it does, because by not telling people like your opinion, like for example, you're going to meet your friend somewhere, so does the time and place suit you? Sometimes I would just conform to what they want, but even just a small thing like that, without even realising, it can have a big impact on your life, because like you're doubting your self-worth and you may think I'm being silly just saying a small thing like that, but it is, because you're not putting your trust in yourself or putting forward what you want, so therefore you're saying to yourself without even realising that you're not important. So it's always important to put forward what it is exactly that you want and what suits you. I'm actually tired of pleasing other people, like actually generally tired of it, and my whole life I thought that it was okay and it didn't bother me, and to a certain extent it doesn't. I'm still quite laid back and whatever, but at the same time I have to realise that my voice needs to be heard and needs to be recognised. I think that's probably the same for a lot of us as well, and I'm sure there's like so many opportunities that you can even think of yourself that you've passed up, or certain things you've not done because you've been too in your head and too worried about what other people are thinking. Even I had recorded a video for TikTok like this as well, where I said this part, which is that because everyone is so busy living for themselves, they're not even thinking about you and what you're doing. So if it's in terms of putting yourself out there and doing certain things, like, who cares? Other people are wrapped up in their own business. And also to add that, actually, what does anyone's opinion of you matter anyway? Like, are they going to pay your bills? Are they going to provide you with happiness in your life? What gives them the authority to have a say on your life? They actually don't, because you wouldn't have a say on their life. And if you do think you're the kind of person that can have a say on someone's life, maybe just like step back and check yourself, because there's a very big difference between giving people your opinion and looking out for them and wanting the best for them, compared to having a judgment and saying, well, this isn't good for you, that isn't good for you, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Because at the end of the day, if that person wants to do that thing, let them, it's their life. So, like, who do you have authority to say over who anyone dates, what they do with their life in terms of career, hobbies, free time, anything, what they eat, what they drink, where they go, who they see? It's not your life, so you don't have a comment on it. To be honest, you don't have an opinion. I think for me, I had grown up with like a parent who really dictated and said and made the point of, I am the adult and you are the child, so basically you do whatever it is that I tell you to do. And that's fine in a normal sense. Like, there's a certain level of course a parent is going to always tell a child what to do, of course, but this was always like, it was very authoritative and too much sometimes. It was like emotional manipulation when this parent couldn't have their way, and they would make me feel often guilty about not doing things for them when sometimes it wasn't reasonable at all. And again, this is where like the whole thing of boundaries comes in, and what I was learning in therapy is like, you can say no and be very clear to someone that your time is not available, or you are not available, or your energy is not available. Whatever it is not available. Like, you don't have to be there to please everyone. You don't have to be the person to always give solutions for everything, because at the end of the day, that's probably not living for yourself and doing what you want to do. And just to say, there's a big difference between living for yourself and being like selfish. Being selfish means you're not, I don't know, I'm just thinking about this now, because sometimes I think being selfish is actually not a bad thing. It just depends. If you're going to go around your life and obviously hurt people intentionally in what you're doing, or physically in what you're doing, then obviously there's a limit to it. But if it's in terms of just doing the things that make you happy, so picking the career that maybe isn't as well respected in society, like, who even cares anyway? I don't. Just because you're picking something that makes you happier, then obviously that's better. Choose that. Or deciding like that you are a certain sexuality or a certain religion, or I don't know, I'm just trying to think out the box, like, because at the end of the day, whatever it is you want to be or whatever it is you want to do, nobody ever has a right to tell you that you shouldn't be doing that. And even if I see my friend making a bad decision, I think I can maybe give them some advice and give my opinion if they're asking for it, but I'm not going to tell them not to do something, because for me, if someone tells me not to do something, it's going to make me, first of all, want to do it more, because that's just how I am. And also, like, if they tell me not to do that thing and I want to do it, and I listen to them, if it goes wrong, I'm going to put the blame on someone else, which I don't want to do. And also, what are the words I'm trying to find? I'm trying to find the words. Is like, I'm always going to want to do what I want to do. And if I don't do that thing, I'm going to sit back and regret it. So I always live by the means of just like live without any missed opportunity, because you would sometimes have an opportunity in front of you, or something you want to do or be, and you have the opportunity to take it, but then you don't. And it's only after you look back and regret it, but then that opportunity might not be able to come back to you. It's like if you have two paths and you can go on path A or path B, but if you go on path B, you don't have the option for path A again. But if you go on path A, it might not work out, but you can always go back to the B. I hope that makes sense. It's like when you're dating someone and they say they're going to change, and the risk is A, they might not change. B, you move on and find someone else. Now with B, you can't really go back to A because, well, just for this example, hear me out, they might go back to someone else, or that opportunity is not there anymore. But with option A, you can try out what they're saying and listen to them and have faith in them, and it might actually work out. Or if it doesn't work out, fine, you leave and you go with option B. I hope that's a bit clearer. Sometimes I have all these thoughts in my mind and I really want to I have so much to say, but I can't articulate it or explain it, and maybe I am explaining better than I think. But yeah, just live for you and make sure you are making yourself happy. So sometimes the difficulty with that is being worried about causing conflict. But my advice is this: if they love you or care about you enough, and okay, it may be a bit of a shock at first if you're the kind of person that doesn't often stick up for yourself or doesn't often have their say on what they want, it may be a bit awkward at first. But if they really love you and really care about you, then they're going to adapt to the new way of thinking. They're going to adapt to the new you, should we say, and they're gonna allow it, and they're gonna realise that, yeah, maybe it's right. She or he or whoever you are should have an opinion and a value, and what they say is valued, and they can do what they want. And if they don't, then, and the conflict is there and it doesn't go away, then maybe they are not a good friend or person to be around, whoever they are. So maybe you shouldn't have them in your life, which is great. Get out of my life then. I don't want you in my life. So it's always, conflict is actually like, I've been trying not to think of it as a scary thing because I was always so afraid of it. But actually, conflict is good because it allows for growth and it allows for like a vetting of people that are actually real and there for you. Like, I'd say, for example, it's me, I'm going on a beam and I'm just trying to please so not to wobble and go on the edges. But if I do wobble and go on the edges, then I can see different sides of people and open my eyes up to new perspectives of how they are. And it's actually so much more peaceful, and I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel like just better in myself because I have a belief in myself more than what I ever have. Like, I never used to be, I used to always say that I loved myself and I cared about myself, and I did to a certain extent, but now it's actually real. Like, you can't disrespect me, because if you do, then I don't need to even fight back or say anything back. Maybe I will if something quick comes to me, but I'm still not a nasty person just because I care about myself. So I'm not going to say anything horrible. I believe karma will get you and give you what you deserve anyway, so I don't need to be mean. But there'll be a negative, which is I'm going to cut you out of my life. And I'm so not afraid of cutting people out of my life. Do you know, like, sometimes I overthink about it and I think maybe I'm cutting people out of my life too harshly. But like I said in another episode, I would rather be around no one and live a happy, peaceful life than be surrounded by people that are fake or just want me to do things for them, or life is just based around what they want and I just follow along. That's not real friendship, or that's not real love or care for someone. That is just having someone there that is willing to do what you want. So think about that. I can't even remember my original point now, but I was saying I now have love for myself more. So it gives me confidence in other areas of my life. Like, even with this, like coming on here and doing a podcast, maybe before I would have never done it because I would have been too afraid to share my views and how I see things, because I would have been worried about upsetting other people because maybe they see things differently to me, or worried about what if people didn't agree with what I said. But now I don't care, because I know I always come with best intentions and I don't ever want to hurt anyone's feelings or upset anyone, but at the same time I'm living for me. Also, just to say, like, that in living for yourself, you're also doing all of the self-care things that we've spoke about. So it's about taking care of your mental, spending time by yourself and doing hobbies you enjoy, doing things that relax you, so like watching series, going for walks, going for hikes, going to the gym, doing sort of clubs that you enjoy, whether it be any sort of sporty club or book club, or I don't know, just go online and type in clubs. There's 100 clubs you can go to. Or just by like reading, doing something creative, journaling. Taking care of those self-care things as well will enable you to be able to really like speak up for yourself and actually live your life for yourself. Like, just as an example, there was a situation I had with someone where I was just going to their house quickly to pick something up, and this is where I put my boundaries in place and I was proud of myself. And I said, I'm going to your house to collect this today. And I got there and they wanted me to do something for them. They wanted me to take time out of my day, even though I told them before that I was busy and I was just literally coming quickly because then I had to go to this other place. When I got there, they expected me to take them somewhere. And they're like, no, but they kept trying to guilt trip me into going and taking them. And I thought, well, like, if I wasn't around and I wasn't here, then what would you do in this situation? And why are you not listening to the fact that I've told you and I'm busy, I've made plans? Normally I would just drop my plans and I would say, okay, like, you know, you're upset or this thing has happened, so I'm going to cater to you and I'm going to do what you want me to do. But in this situation, I actually stood my ground and I was so proud of myself, and I said, I had to just keep repeating, no, I've got plans, sorry, no, I'm busy in this present moment. Like, I had to just keep repeating it, and then I had to take myself out of the situation as soon as possible. Luckily, like I said, I was leaving anyway, so fine. But I just think it's so frustrating, like, people will try and push your boundaries, and that's when you know that you don't really deserve to be around someone better than that. And also, I've had another situation recently where I was so happy because, like, there was a situation that happened and normally I just wouldn't give my opinion, I'd just be quiet and not say what I think, but I actually voiced my opinion and said that I didn't think it was fair, that this situation was happening. And to be fair, the person didn't really give me a great response. It was like they just kind of ignored what I said. But I still felt proud of myself for actually speaking up for myself and saying what it was that I had to say. And it's made me more, although they didn't respond in a way that was good, because it means that next time I'll be more confident and we can just build up on it and what I want to say. And it just shows that obviously they know, like when someone doesn't have a response, it's like you just know you're in the wrong. And it's not even about being right and wrong in situations. It's about, are you actually disrespecting me? Are you actually even caring about my feelings? And if someone can't even acknowledge that, then again, they're not really a great person to be around. Like, trust me, I've opened my eyes to the people around me and I've seen what's good and what's not good. Honestly, in the past, and actually, I'll tell you something as well. In the past, it's actually messed up a friendship of mine that I wasn't able to say how I felt, because I could see something in them which I didn't particularly like, and I feel bad for them because it wasn't their fault. Like, they were obviously going through something, but because I didn't voice that, I've actually ruined the friendship, because my feelings and opinions built up, and it came to this day when I had been drinking, and then this person, if they're watching, probably knows that it's about them, but hopefully they can recognise that I do feel terrible about the situation now, and I know it was my part of myself for this way the situation happened, but because my feelings built up and then I was drunk, then it all just spilled out in a way that it shouldn't have, and it could have so been easily avoided if I would have just sat down and said, hey, I've seen this and I don't really appreciate this because this is bringing me down and this is not making me feel good. But because I couldn't do that, because I was so afraid of conflict, it actually did escalate into a big bad conflict, which it meant that we weren't friends anymore. And now when I think about that situation, I just think to myself, like, oh my god, Chelsea, like, you're so stupid, like, why didn't you just say how you felt? And it could have been all avoided, but there we go. And now, yeah, I still think now, I don't know, were we aligned as being friends or not being friends? I don't really know, because I do try and tell myself, everything happens for a reason, but I feel like we could have really worked on a friendship and like been great friends if I would have just been able to speak up for myself. And I really hope that if this person knows it's about them, that they're doing well now and realise that it wasn't fully their fault, the situation. So that's just an example of, make sure you speak your mind and say what you got to say, because it's going to come around and bite you in the bum sometimes. Even when you're trying to avoid conflict and be nice and please other people, you can't always. And sometimes as well, you may end up trying to please someone at the detriment of someone else that you care about, and when you know fully in your heart what you should have done. So always just go what your gut feeling and what you think you should be doing, like what will make you happy, what is best for you, like I've said a million times, because it's the best way forward. But I think I've been talking for too long on the subject. I hope you have got some knowledge from this and you try and put yourself first. Think about yourself more. Be more selfish, because no one else is thinking about you. As much as someone says they care about you as well, they're always going to put themselves first, or they should be at least putting themselves first, because we are the most important person and no one's going to put you forwards or care about you the way you do. So just care about you. Be a bit selfish and try it out for a little while and see how it goes. I always just to add as well, make plans for yourself, be selfish with what you want to do, and if someone makes plans in the times you made plans for yourself, like you're going to take yourself on a solo date or you want to relax or do this or that, don't cancel the plans. You need to make time for yourself. You need to have time for you. Make time for them around your plans, because again, that will eat into your free time. Anyways, enough yabbering. I got to go now, because again, another busy day. I'm actually going to meet one of my old friends that I used to work with today, and I'm going to meet some more old friends from work tomorrow as well, from a different job. So I'm really excited. It's a nice social week, and I feel like this year so far, like I said, has been so positive, and I'm actually branching out, trying new things, doing different things, because you know what they say is that if your life, you don't get different results from doing the same thing, basically, is a saying, I think. So try something new, do something different, branch out, and speak up for yourself. Okay, don't know why I did that kiss, it's just me sending love, because obviously, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're a kind person and you deserve some love. We all deserve some love. Alright, I'm talking too much. Bye. See you next week.